Alright, this is the screen I use to trade with. This is basically all Apple stock, except for the Apple put, which is a short, and the Apple call, which is a long. Now I only trade the options. I don't trade the actual stock itself, and but I do trade based on the stock itself, and so I use the stock to determine when I trade the options themselves. Now these are actually all the same stock and chart. They're just ever shorter or longer depending how you look at it. These are all tick charts. This is a 1,000 tick chart, a 500 tick chart, a 250 tick chart, a 100 tick chart, which you can see there, a 50 tick chart, a 25 tick chart, and a 5 tick chart. Down here is actually a minute or 30-second chart, and this is also the same as here. This is a 100 tick chart that sort of zoomed in on the volume and also the momentum that's not actually displayed here. So I essentially watch the overall movement that you can see more or less on the 250, which shows a nice strong trend, which is why it's essentially the most prominent. And then when I'm trying to figure out what is it doing here, you can look shorter and longer to determine what you think is happening. And actually I use this tiny one here on the 5. This is the most sensitive MACD, which is essentially a momentum indicator. And so if this is pointing down, then this MACD will also point down. Essentially, this line here is the shorter, the faster of the two, because you can see in all of these MACDs that the fast line and the slow line dance over each other. So during an uptrend, the fast line is above it, and then it crosses here, which I highlight with a blob, and now it's in a downtrend, which also is seen as the red. So these, each one is the next one's shorter one. So this one basically makes up the short one from here. And this one essentially makes up the short one from here, and so on and so on. So if this one is pointing down, there's no way that this one can go up, nor this one can go up, etc., etc. So if I'm expecting an uptrend here, and I see this is still going down, well then I'll hold on for at least a moment, till at least I see what it's going to do. Anyway, this is just a test. I like to hear myself talk, so Baka!